Finding Faith in Funny. My name is Chase. Thank you for listening. Listen, I've had this idea about Finding Faith in Funny, what a fun segment would be to do. And that is, we're going to call a random business or random church, and whoever answers the phone, we're just going to talk to them and see if we can get them to laugh. Now, the phone call I'm making right now is to a cremation funeral home here in town. Why do you ask? Well, because weeks ago, I had lined up to talk to a funeral worker and a mortician, and then they stopped responding. Ironically enough, the funeral and cremation person ghosted me. So this is not a revenge call, but it is me sick of waiting around. So we're calling a different funeral home where they don't work, and we're going to talk to someone and see if they would be willing to have a conversation with us. And if not, we're still going to see if I can at least get them to laugh before they hang up. So let's see what we can do to make someone's day better who works all around grief.
Record or return this call for quality or research purposes.
Ooh.
Subject to our privacy policies. Portable funerals and cremations. This call is recorded for quality and training purposes.
Mine too.
Portable funerals and cremations. My name is Kason. How can I help you?
Hi, Kason. My name is Chase. Can you hear me okay?
I can. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you just fine. Thank you for asking. I don't know if you guys are busy right now, but I'm looking to speak with someone just for a few minutes about a project I'm working on. I've been wanting to talk to a funeral worker or a mortician of sorts. Is there anyone who has about 5 minutes to talk to me?
I've got a couple minutes. I'm the only employee here at the funeral home, but I'm happy to help answer any questions you might have.
Yeah, you bet. And again, this is going to sound kind of random. And again, if at any point anything I ask seems disrespectful or anything, please feel free to decline. I'm not intending to be disrespectful by any way. Essentially what it is I'm doing this project called Finding Faith in Funny, where I talk to people from all walks of life, all sorts of backgrounds, just knowing how humor might play a role in their life. Now, someone who works at a funeral home or anything, something like that, that's a heavy job. Your whole life kind of revolves around grief and death. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
So my biggest question I'd want to ask then, and if you're okay, I am recording this conversation just for my own research purpose. And again, anything you don't want on the record, I'm happy to take off. Obviously, in a respectful manner, there has to be some way that humor carries you through. Is there anything you find not humorous at the job, but like, how does humor play a role for you working in such a job that, frankly, most people wouldn't dare work at?
I think I would say the biggest way that I use humor, and I do use it more as a tool than just relying on it as maybe a coping mechanism, as you might expect.
Yeah.
But I'll actually try and get our families to laugh while we're in funeral arrangements. And lots of times just by asking them meaningful questions about their loved one, about their personal relationships, about what made them happy. And usually by the end of that conversation, I feel like I can get them opening up and laughing and sharing their inside jokes and things like that. And that is usually the first step in knowing that they're going to have a good experience coming through the funeral home. And when our families are happy, that's when we're happy. So I wouldn't say and I do outside of that use grief in my own, or use humor in my own life as like a way to help counteract the grief.
Yeah.
But I like using it as a tool to help families, because when they're happy, we're happy too. And I've loved.
That's admirable. Like that, I don't.
That way, yeah.
No, I mean, I don't know what answer I expected. I didn't expect that, where you were talking about the families in direct, and I lost my mom when I was 16, and I remember the first time we were all able to laugh after she went, it was huge. So the fact that you can do that with a grieving family probably goes a long way for them, but even for you personally to kind of, I don't know, it can be such a heavy thing. It probably definitely lightens the load. That's awesome.
Absolutely, all around, on my side and on the family side. So.
Yeah, for sure. Now, this is more of a silly question. And again, nothing's meant to come off disrespectful. Obviously, you guys are not the only funeral home or cremation center in town. Do you guys like actually find ways to advertise to try and stick out, or are you guys more just word of mouth?
Our business model right now is just to be the least expensive funeral home in town. And that's really good advertising in itself. We don't spend a whole lot in advertising just to help keep our overhead down.
Well, if you ever do need a slogan, I think I have one for you.
All right.
How about burn more for less?
There you go.
No, honestly, I admire what you guys do. That's really the only conversation I wanted to have with someone, at this point over the phone. But I admire what you do. And sometime down the line, if you got to have a sit down conversation with me and go a little more depth into it, I'd love it.
Awesome. I'm available and happy to do that anytime.
Thanks, man. I'll reach back out. Remind me your name one more time.
It's Kason. Kason.
Thanks, Kason. Appreciate it.
Yep. You take care.
Bye. Well, all right. I don't know what I expected, but that was fantastic. That was fantastic. All right. Thanks for listening. That's really all this is going to be. Whenever I get a random person on the phone, it's going to be short episodes. Maybe we'll call it Random Call Thursdays or something. So, yeah, we'll do it again.